Hello everybody and welcome to another product review by Watchful Studio. Today we're going to be taking a look at SBX 66, the T-34 tank company, an all plastic kit by Battlefront Miniatures for their World War II miniatures game. This box set includes 5 T-34 tanks and retails for $45. As you can see on the box cover, it shows some of your options that are available to you in this kit, with the Soviet flag in the lower left hand corner letting you know what nation these tanks are for, and the late war icon in the lower right hand corner letting you know which time period these tanks work with. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back cover. The back shows you the contents of this box, which is 5 T-34 tanks, 1 decal sheet, and a whopping 11 unit cards. The back cover also shows you the assembly instructions for the different T-34 options that are available to you on the plastic sprues. Let's go right ahead and open the box and take a look at those sprues. The first sprue you see is the main body of the T-34 tank. Also, it contains the 2 turrets that are needed to either make the T-34 or the T-34-85. The lower part of the main body, hatches, cupolas, the exhausts, and the gun mantlets for both the T-34 and T-34-85, as well as the hull machine gun or the flamethrower for the OT-34. One thing I like to note in this kit is it allows you to build the full turrets for both the T-34 and T-34-85, giving players the ability to swap out turrets as they build their different armies for different games. This is a very rare exception to the Battlefront kits, as most other universal tanks, such as the Sherman, have turrets and their weapon options in separate kits. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next sprue. This sprue is kind of the universal sprue for anything that uses the T-34 chassis, including the Su-85s and Su-100s. Comes with the tracks and a myriad of items that you can either add to your tank or potentially leave off, but it does include the Su-100 gun barrel, the T-34-85 barrel, the 57mm and the 76mm barrels for the T-34, the fuel drums, both early and late war, several hatches, an open cupola, track links, and some other accessories for earlier war T-34 tanks that don't have the parts included in this kit. Let's go right ahead and take a look at the Tank Commander sprue. You get a Tank Commander sprue in the box set, giving you 6 options of different types of tank commanders, where you can have a little bit of a unique look to those tank commanders as you build out your force. Let's go right ahead and take a look at the decal sheet. The decal sheet contains numbers for your various tanks, some Soviet slogans, and of course the red Soviet star. Nice addition to this tank set. All right, let's go right ahead and assemble some of these tanks so we can take a look. Here are a few examples of the assembled T-34s. A couple things to note. I would make sure follow your assembly instructions carefully, because the first few T-34-85s that I assembled, I actually put the hatches and cupola on the top of the turret on incorrectly, and I've been using plastic cement. So in order to correct that error, I won't be able to do it because the 2 pieces have basically melted together. So unfortunately, I will have a few tanks in my army with the wrong hatch layout, but that's okay. Live and learn. A few other things to note is that I actually glue the 2 pieces of the turret together before I clean them, so that way I can line up the pieces, and once the plastic cement has done its job and basically melted the 2 pieces together and the glue is dry, I then go back in with a file or a sanding tool and mesh the 2 pieces together. You can see in the video the white part of where the 2 pieces were put together, but once those are painted, you'll never notice. The machine guns themselves are a little tricky. They're a little fiddly, so just be careful when you're clipping them off the sprue and cleaning them. I actually wait to clean the mold lines off the machine guns until after I've glued them on the vehicle, so that way I can hold the vehicle itself rather than the small machine gun piece. The same would go for if you wanted to make an OT-34 variant with the flamethrower. The one thing that I've noticed in assembling my Soviet vehicles is exactly how the fuel tanks are mounted on the vehicle themselves, because you have the spout for where the oil drum is. You may want to do a little research on your own and find out exactly how they mounted them on the tanks, because in some instances I have the spout pointing down, and in some instances I have it pointing up. Perhaps in the heat of battle, they didn't really care how they were mounted on the vehicle and they just threw them on there. But I wasn't there, so I don't know. Anyways, the T-34s are a joy to put together. There are a lot of fiddly bits that you have to put on the vehicle, vehicle, between the hatches, the exhausts, fuel drums, the front fenders, the machine gun. So they do take some time to put together, but you're going to have an endless amount of these. So take your time, do it right, don't make the mistakes I did, and enjoy. Taking a look at the data cards, the T-34 by far has the most data cards available to the Soviet player, and it's going to be one of your most prevalent tanks you're going to see in Soviet armies. There are several formations that can take T-34s and their different variants in the Bagration Soviet book, and definitely a box that retail stores want to carry 2 to 4 of and give players that ability to walk in the store and build out their army in one shot. As a store builds the Flames of War community or has an existing community within their store, the T-34 box set is going to be a high turnover item, so I would recommend carrying multiples of them. Along with this box, I would absolutely consider carrying the T-34 Army box, which gives you 21 T-34s for $100 and works great in combination with this box. So potentially a player could buy the box of 21 tanks and maybe another 1 or 2 of these boxes, give themselves 31 tanks, which is a great start to a Soviet collection. If you look at the data cards for these vehicles, the big difference is going to be whether or not you take these tanks as a hero tank company or a normal tank company, which would provide slightly different statistics in the areas of skill ratings and possibly in their motivation. Let's take a look at some of the point costs. Depending on the type mix that you want to have in your force, the formations give you a nice variety, being able to field either a completely T-34-85 formation or a T-34 formation or a mix of both T-34s with a 76mm gun and the T-34-85s. Another interesting support option is the OT-34, the flame tank, which is relatively inexpensive for the amount of flame tanks that you can bring onto the table, but that brings in a whole different bag of concerns when you have flame tanks on the table and how susceptible they are. Overall, this is a great kit. The T-34s are enjoyable to put together, but I would give you fair warning to make sure and review the assembly instructions, as I have made the classic mistake of putting the hatches and the cupolas in the wrong holes, causing some historical accuracy concerns, but also because the holes are of slightly different sizes on the T-34-85s, I found it very frustrating and had to actually carve out the holes to make them fit, only to realize later on that it was pointed out to me that I put the hatches in the wrong size. So don't go and make that same mistake. I made it for you. I hope you enjoyed this video and this product review. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell. Don't forget, let's keep a watchful eye on the hobby, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.